So this is our beautiful 30-foot by 18-foot wide greenhouse. That's also our kiln for drying the papercrete blocks. The plastic, the end walls. This is a hole for the stove, a wood stove we could use. Here's our Portland cement, which is an integral part of the papercrete brick making process.
A tow mixture was specially made for the project. They acquired cellulose, which is pre-ground paper, and later got a van load of paper from a printer in Moncton, which then had to be unloaded.
Let's go, Nelly.
And this is the sophisticated weighing machine for the paper before it's put into the tow mixture, carefully crumpled for mixing with the Portland and the water. Everyone is standing ready for the driver and his white car to send us on our way to make the first bunch of papercrete.
Is there evidence of mixing going on?
Oh, it's looking good! Oh, yeah. Okay, you don't have to go that.
And so the fascination with going up and down the road and watching the vortex began.
Go faster. Some of them. You're crazy.
Keep coming. 4 feet, keep coming.
2 feet, 1 foot,
6
stop.
inches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whoa!
Whoa!
Oh, like this.
Obviously there were some details that needed to be worked out.
Well, we got the car going and we started
Yeah,
driving.
because you
and
like-
then
because if
we
it's
started
not, it
noticing
will
that a lot of water
you
was
like
coming
to,
out of the back valve.
Me to cut this off
So
with the chainsaw first?
we had a little discussion about how we were going to keep the valve on. Dita had the great idea that we should use bungees.
You can choose.
So we put some bungees on either side of the valve to pull it back and push it on. And so then some people got up and were looking down inside, and Dad was driving, and sometimes he drove too fast. And
We think we found a good speed,
think we found a good
9
speed.
kilometers an hour.
9 kilometers an hour, yeah. And so then we came back here and poured it in here.
That's
And we're working on making a better plug, I think.
Well, this one we actually did a full load. That means 2 bags of the paper and 1 whole bag of concrete and 180 gallons of water. And we drove for longer, further, and faster. And we think it's a really nice mix. Is now that what we really need is a trough, something to direct the flow as it's coming out of the tow mixer.
There was a good deal of pondering over exactly what was the right mix. It needed certain expertise and handling and understanding, rather like a fine wine.
Yeah.
But I
in
bet
weight, but
Oh, really?
Maybe.
I thought so,
I doubt
It's
it.
hard to know.
but yeah,
That's
it-
why we
Imagine
did the
picking up,
scale.
imagine picking up that bundle of paper
that was
and then the bags of paper.
So what we have here is our first batch successful. Well, actually it's our second, but for my first batch using the tow mixture. And just a second, I'm on camera. What we've discovered, this was half paper and half cellulose pre-ground paper. And we actually made the mix a little bit too dry this time. We didn't get enough of a vortex. But it was the first time that we'd used real, just raw newspapers, and there was even a box and a magazine all put together. And it definitely grounded up. As you can see, there isn't any evidence of any big pieces of paper. When we spilled it out, it was all evenly and even in uniform. And so we're very impressed with the way that it chops it up, but we think we're going to have to go to a more thin mixture in order that the mixture itself should spill easily into the form, since that took us a great deal of time. The other thing we're going to do is change this, the plunger for a bung hole. So we're going to change this apparatus before our next batch goes in, and if possible, we'd like to keep the mix this thick, but have it be able to spill out. So that's our next experiment.
And not blow up my car.
That's number 2. We're nearly there. We've only got
48.
48 more blocks to do.
48 more batches.
Batches.
Today.
And so the blocks began to dry in the New Brunswick sun before being transported into the greenhouse. Meanwhile, the papercreters covered the roads of New Brunswick, towing their tow mixer, making more and more bricks. The Fearless balanced on the edge of the tow mixer, trying to overcome the challenges of no bung yet. And they kept driving and driving. Finally, the perfect thing arrived in the form of a bung, and the mixture got better and better, and more bricks, and more hope for a papercrete house. And then everyone was called into service to, of course, carry the damp bricks from their first drying position to their second drying position to their third drying position before they would be then transported to make the actual papercrete house. And each brick required 2 people for carrying, and often some form of device so the brick wouldn't fall apart. And the pile of bricks began to grow at a very satisfying pace. Summer turned to fall, but undeterred by a coolness in the weather, nevertheless the papercreters returned to make more bricks, to tow their tow mixer up and down the road. And it was clear that a test project needed to be started next summer.
So, this is our outhouse, which we built on top of the septic tank, and everything just goes right in there. And what we did was we took our papercrete blocks and we put them upways, so that the walls on this are 6 inches thick, and we also have a bottom layer of cinder blocks for, I guess, not only for ventilation, but also to keep the papercrete off the ground. And so we put them 6 inches, and then we took a slurry of papercrete and used it as a mortar between the blocks, and we just put it on and then bricked it up. And the roof
Kind of look like oatmeal.
Yeah, a little like oatmeal. And the roof is weave sticks. We have we have a frame of like the top of a trapezoid with windows in it, or skylights rather. And then around that, sticks are woven into it. And then we took
the sticks were from my last broom. Right.
Gotcha. And then we took the a thick slurry of papercrete and put it on top of these sticks, and it dried there into this lovely roof. And then we took a slurry of papercrete and slapped it onto the sides to cover up and make it all uniform. Why don't you take a look at the inside?
Careful, careful, I don't want you to get hurt on that.
See the handprints?
We've also got some hangings here on the side, which just add to its general looks.
Oh, you know what?
It's a pretty rockin' pan. probably wondering what's happening to my left eye.
What is that? Made out of? It's actually made out of papercrete. And if you'll observe the nose actually says something. It says he.